South Carolina won the toss, and they want the football. 6-0 Alabama, 5-1 South Carolina, and Lee Tippen's got it teed up. Underway in Tuscaloosa. This will go to Culliver at the 9-yard line. He's a dangerous return man as well, and Culliver cuts it outside. All the way out across the 35 to the 40, and a flag flies in. South Carolina's going to have great field position to work with. Hubert Owens is our referee. So we've got one play and one flag. And here's the call. It's a face mask, and that'll move the ball into Alabama territory. Not what you want to have with the first snap of the ball game, to give the road team that much more confidence.
Well, even if you're the second-ranked defense in the country, as Alabama is, already you're giving South Carolina their first start in your territory.
Stephen Garcia at the controls. The sophomore, who's had a solid year so far, sets the offense for the Gamecocks up at the tied 44-yard line. Kenny Miles is the tailback. And he's hit in the backfield, spins to the line of scrimmage, and maybe eked out a yard.
You know, Aaron talked at the beginning of the show about Arenas and his availability. He's not in there now. We saw him on the opening kickoff putting a toboggan hat on instead of his helmet. And where that affects Alabama also, obviously he's the starting corner. Marquise Johnson is in for him now, but when they get into passing situations and nickel defense, he's their main nickel back. So you'll have another new guy in the game, not just one new corner, but a new nickel back as well.
Garcia, his first throw, fires down the middle. It's intercepted. Alabama coming the other way, and it's Mark Barron. He's got a convoy still on his feet. Barron down the sideline. Cuts to the middle. He might be gone. Touchdown. "77 yards on the interception return for the score. Third interception of the year for the strong safety." Boy, we talked about turnovers or the lack of them by Garcia. He just made a major mistake in the opening minute and 5 seconds of the football game.
A lot of South Carolina's reads for the quarterback are half field, not full field reads. But you better always know where the safeties are. This is Mark Barron, okay? Now, this is the area of the field that Garcia is going to read, but he better know where the other safety is at all times. He never takes his eyes to the other safety, and I'm not even sure where he was throwing that. The receiver was running deep. He's throwing like a deep in, and Barron was the only guy around the football.
And talk about knowing what to do with it and getting some help from your teammates. Great blocking, and Barron takes it all the way for the touchdown.
That is the 14th takeaway for this Alabama defense here in the first half of the season. That puts them at +10 for the season, a big part of their success.
They had 4 interceptions of Jevon Sneed last week against Ole Miss, and here they are in the opening minutes with a 7-0 lead, courtesy of that #2 ranked defense that Todd talked about. Well, so much for the nice kick return and the penalty. It didn't matter, did it? Garcia, his 4th interception of the year. None any more costly than that one. Very deflating now for South Carolina. They got to regroup in a hurry and get their mind back in the football game. Culliver again, who had the nice kick return back deep. This one he'll take at the 6-yard line. Trying to go to the left again. There's a lot of crimson jerseys around there, and they'll bring him down as he got near the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at South Carolina's impact players coming into the game tonight. Alshon Jeffrey, Aaron talked about him. 3 touchdown catches in their win a week ago. An emerging star as a freshman. Eric Norwood, 6 sacks. School record for sacks, in fact. Out of the back end, Chris Culliver just returned that kick. His first one was exceptional. That one a lot shorter, and now not as good a field position for Garcia and the Gamecocks, their own 20-yard line. Here's an end around to Mo Brown. Brown got the corner, but barely. And he dives forward, got about 5 out of it as Nico Johnson got out there to make the stop. You see the starting lineup offensively, including Kenny Miles, the tailback. DeMarco, the fullback. The offensive line for South Carolina has been shuffled a little bit. Yep. Different guys in different spots this year. Over the course of the first 6 games. Pickup of 6, second down at 4. Here's a toss. Miles is drilled. Oh boy. The big guy, Mount Cody. Terrence Cody says hello at all of 354 pounds. Well, give or take a biscuit.
Yeah, we know what Terrence does when they run right at him. I mean, he just eats up space and absorbs blockers, right? But that time he moved down the line of scrimmage and made a nice play.
He eats up a lot of things, I think.
Yeah.
He'll come out in what Alabama thinks might be a passing situation here as Garcia's in the gun on 3rd and 4. They won't run it. Draw play. That's not going to do it either. Nice pursuit. Good tackle by Rolando McClain. And South Carolina's got to give it up.
Now, Rolando McClain is just such a smart football player. He makes all the calls for the defense, and he just reads and reacts so quickly. Was not fooled on that. The formation, he expected run, no false steps, and a great angle to the football, and forces the punt.
Spencer Lanning to kick. And Julio Jones back deep. He's got a shot at it from the 25. Got 10 quick yards, about 13 on the return. So Alabama already with a touchdown lead, courtesy of their defense. They'll have their offense on the field, leading 7-0 when we come back. Now here's number 2 Alabama, already sporting a 7-0 lead. And we're early in the first quarter, courtesy of the defense. Here's Greg McElroy, his first crack offensively. Nice to have a touchdown cushion to work with. And good field position just inside the 38-yard line. Mark Ingram all wrapped up. Ajiboye from his defensive line spot. Well, Mark never does go down. It's kind of the way he plays all the time. Offensively for Alabama, you'll see their starters on top, led by their quarterback, the junior from Southlake, Texas. Mark Ingram, who comes in as the number 4 rusher in the conference, number 14 in the country. Their offensive line different than a year ago, probably not quite as big, but still very efficient. McElroy takes his time, 3 wideouts for him on second down at 10. Ingram tries the middle again, got maybe 2.
Well, this is going to be the key right now for South Carolina. They've got to be very stout against this Alabama running game and hope that they can put the game into Greg McElroy's hands. Last week in the Ole Miss game, even though it was an impressive win for Alabama, Greg McElroy did not have a great game. No. They confused him. They made him uncomfortable. He didn't set his feet. He never really looked comfortable in that game. I'm anxious to see what he'll look like after that experience against another very good SEC defense in South Carolina.
And timeouts. And South Carolina takes the timeout. Big third down for Alabama on their opening offensive march. We'll see how they fare when we come back. Bears hats. Bear Bryant Museum here in Tuscaloosa. A lot of houndstooth around here in a lot of different fashions, as you can see. Third down and 8. McElroy with 4 wideouts. Jones, Mays, McCoy, and Hanks. Fires fires over the middle. It's intercepted by South Carolina. And the Gamecocks come up with a big defensive play. Shaq Wilson, the middle linebacker, so both quarterbacks have made a mistake.
Well, the mistake that McElroy made was throwing behind his intended receiver. It was an out route, and his receiver's going to be open. Watch McElroy as he goes back, and he's looking for his back. Upchurch out of the backfield. He throws it completely behind him, right into the hands of Shaq Wilson.
You and I have done a bunch of games. When's the first time that each quarterback's first attempt was intercepted? Not that often. And now South Carolina's got a golden opportunity at the Tide 31. Brian Maddox checks into the backfield for the Gamecocks, and he's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Corey Reamer, Lorenzo Washington in on the stop. One guy that we won't see tonight for South Carolina that probably would have been their number 2 tailback, Jarvis Giles, who didn't make the trip, suspended for 1 game. So it's going to be all on Kenny Miles and Brian Maddox for the most part, with the exception of maybe Patrick DeMarco, their fullback, being in there at times. Well, here's Garcia in an empty backfield.
A little confusion for Alabama, it looks like.
Garcia trying to buy himself some time, and he's going to run out of it, and there's a flag down in the South Carolina backfield. Might be a tripping call in the backfield. Garcia rolled out, trying to find a receiver. And that is the call. Well, just when something goes right for you, you turn around and go the other way. I think that's what Steve's thinking right now. Right there.
Yeah, that's just an instinctive move.
T.J. Johnson said, well, I'm going to get him somehow.
Yeah.
So that walks it back outside the 45-yard line. Garcia has a look on 2nd down at 25. Wants to throw in the middle. It's tipped in the air. Maddox couldn't hold it. And it'll be 3rd down and long. Talked about the running backs for South Carolina a little bit by committee. The middleman not here tonight, so Kenny Miles, who had a big game, 100 yards on 17 carries in the win over Kentucky last week, expected to be the guy that would carry the majority of the load, but we've seen both he and Maddox tonight for Steve Spurrier. South Carolina 40% on their 3rd down conversions, but you don't convert many 3rd and 25s. Garcia flips it out. It's going to be a loss on the play as Jason Barnes swarmed under. And Rolando McClain again, the middle line. He is so rangy.
Yeah, he's rangy and he is so decisive. You know, when he sees something and reads it, he goes right away. He's guessing this, and he goes right with the perfect angle to the receiver Barnes. And then when he gets there, he does not miss many tackles. And when he hits you, you go to the ground.
And he's 6'4" and almost 260 pounds, and he runs like that. That's a little scary. Spencer Lanning's got a punt, so the interception did no good. Deep kick, but too deep. Hit the end zone on the fly, touchback. And it'll be Alabama trying it again on offense. They lead it home, though, here in the first quarter, 7-0. Nobody tried to stop us without having a parking pass. You notice that?
Beautiful bus.
SEC on ESPN, Alabama leading 7-0. And the Tide starting at their own 20-yard line again. McElroy and Garcia both been intercepted here in the first quarter. Now back to what Alabama does well, and that's Mark Ingram out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. You know, you go back, Ledge, you're not going to get many opportunities to get an interception, start a drive at the 31-yard line, and you end up punting in the end zone.
Yeah, a real wasted opportunity. And I think that's, you know, Steve knows. I mean, they're going to have to play their best game of the year, and they get a gift with that interception. And not only do they not score, and they get the tripping penalty, but when they punt, they can't even pin Alabama back.
Right.
They don't kick them down into the corner.
They could have taken a knee, and they would have only lost 11 yards after the interception. Here's Ingram again, first down and more. Blasts his way out to the 38-yard line. First down, Alabama, as we go out to Reese Davis. Reese. Here's McElroy's swing pass out to Ingram, and he's across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Pickup of a couple. Don't forget, coming up on Monday Night Football,
Kinley has just done a phenomenal job. He's a disciple under Bill Belichick and beat his former mentor and off to an undefeated start.
Phillip Rivers, an Alabama kid who went to NC State as a star, won 4 bowl games there, and now a big star in the NFL with the Chargers. All kinds of connections we got working here. This draw play's not working, though.
Yeah, little wildcat formation with Trent Richardson, and now a late flag.
Just when you wrap somebody up, you get a loss of 3 or 4. And if it's on Ajiboye, just one of those that drives you crazy as a head coach. We saw a few of them in the Texas-Oklahoma game today. Happens in every game. You can't give a team as good as Alabama free yardage like what they just did here.
Well, it was perfectly defended, and then Ajiboye throws him to the ground at the end of the play and then bumps him on the way up off the ground. So, I mean, beautiful defense, great stop, way to react to the new formation, but then you give them a gift at the end.
And the gift puts them in South Carolina territory. First down, just inside the 49-yard line. Play action. McElroy wants it all, going deep, and it is almost intercepted. Marquise Mays was out there, but it's nice coverage by Darian Stewart.
Yeah, and C.C. Whitlock, the corner, number 12, was in good position. He knew his safety was coming over the top. Here's Whitlock. He gets inside, stays on his hip, gets his head around and sees the ball, and almost comes down with another interception. And then Stewart was there just to put the lick on Mays, but it was well played by the corner Whitlock.
Knowing that he had an opportunity right there, pounding the turf. Second down and 10. Ingram, first down and more. Boy, he's tough. Pick up of 15 more. Mark Ingram coming off a career-high game, the win over Ole Miss last week. He had 172 yards, and he's off to the races here tonight.
Well, the thing that Ingram has really gotten better at is being a little more patient and then waiting for those blocks. He does a nice job of hesitating briefly at the line of scrimmage. And Norwood gets blocked by Preston Dial, the tight end, number 85, and that springs Ingram for the big game.
Here's play action. McElroy in trouble, and that one is intercepted. No, dropped. Boy, that would have been a touchdown.
I think they called that a catch and a fumble, and now it's back to Alabama.
I guess so.
Yeah, I think they called it, at least on the field, an interception by Whitlock, and then a fumble.
Talk about a bang-bang play. Here's another look.
McElroy's arm was hit.
You're right.
I think that was a catch, and a really nice play by Julio Jones to knock the ball out.
And Darius Hanks covers it. And so now it's first down, Alabama, at the 39-yard line. Steve Spurrier's going, what else can go wrong? We're only 10 minutes into the game. 9.5, in fact. So with all of that, first down for the Tide. Upchurch checks into the backfield in the pistol formation, and they'll give it to him. A nice gain inside the 35 to the 34.
You know, the Alabama running game is working right now. It's going pretty good. But I think that Jim McElwain, the offensive coordinator, very soon will dial up a play to get the ball in the hands of Julio Jones. Their main receiver is off to a slow start this year. He's battled ankle and knee injuries, but he's been healthy this week for the first time in quite a while. And wouldn't be surprised to see him get involved quickly.
Right now, they've got the tight ends in there. They're going to try to blast it with Upchurch, and he's got the first down, I think. Looks to have it, so Upchurch in there to give Ingram a breather. Senior out of Tallahassee. There's Julio Jones. And he'll trot back out now with the sticks being moved for the first down.
See, the key for Alabama is to get their run game going, because if their run game goes, then their play-action pass game opens up. And that's the best way for Greg McElroy to be efficient in this offense, is to throw play action.
As you look behind McElroy, he's in the shotgun. Jones down to the bottom of your screen. Upchurch again. Upchurch, nice move inside the 20. Down to the 15. A pickup of 14 before Culliver can get him out of bounds.
Well, this is a beautifully conceived play because the action moves right, and they're going to invite Matthews to come up the field. Watch all this action go this way, and Upchurch is going to break it back out the backside. Let the rush come up the field, and then come back the backside. So they invite the rush and slip the run in behind him on the other side.
So Upchurch did his job, and now Ingram back in there. First down, Alabama at the South Carolina 14-yard line, leading by 7. And it's Ingram. Down to the 10 and fighting his way inside, close to the 8.
Well, this is where Alabama had some problems last week in their win against Ole Miss. They had 6 trips in the red zone, but didn't score any touchdowns. They had to settle for 5 field goals, and they lost 1 fumble down there. Now, it hasn't been a year-long problem, but last week, scoring a touchdown was a problem.
And, of course, a lot of people looked at that and said, what's wrong? Well, when you get to the red zone more than anybody else in the league, that's not bad either.
Yeah. And more scores than anybody in the league. Just a lot of field goals last week.
Second down at 4 here. Ingram. Oh, nice job to cut him down. It's Culliver again from the secondary. He's been a busy defensive back. Pickup of about a yard. They can get a first down, Alabama, inside the 4-yard line. They lead courtesy of a Mark Barron interception and a 77-yard return for a score. Now the offense is down there ringing the doorbell with just under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Ingram hit as he got to the line of scrimmage by Shaq Wilson.
Well, Ingram didn't look like he, normally he really bursts through the hole. That time he looked like he was hesitant. Maybe wasn't sure what the play exactly was. And you see him shaking his head coming off the field. Yeah. He looked a little bit hesitant when he got the football on that play.
Now here's Tiffin in, the guy that hit the 5 field goals that Todd just talked about. He was the Lou Groza Star of the Week in college football. You see his numbers almost perfect, 14 out of 16. They try a 25-yard kick to give his team a 10-0 lead, and he's got it with 2 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Coach Saban would have liked to have had more, but it's a 10-0 lead for the Tide as we've got time to take a look at tonight's Good Hands Flashback, brought to you by Allstate. Let's take you back to September 10th, 2005 against Southern Miss. Brody Croyle going deep for Tyrone Prothro. Defender was Jasper Falk. Watch this catch again. This won an ESPY for one of the top plays of the year in 2006. Alabama goes on to win that one 30-21. What a catch. Saw a catch similar to that with one hand that Alshon Jeffrey of South Carolina had in the win over Kentucky last week, as he had 3 touchdown catches. But right now, Alabama with their defense and their special teams spotting them a 10-0 lead. Tiffin, who passed his dad on the all-time scoring list earlier this season. His dad, Van, played for Ray Perkins here back in the middle 80s. Chris Culliver again waits on the other end. Culliver over 2,000 career kick return yards for South Carolina. He camps under this one at about the 8-yard line. And breaking tackles out across the 40 to the 41. So the second time tonight that Culliver has given South Carolina good field position with his kick returns. There's Alshon Jeffrey, the freshman. 7 catches for 138 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win over Kentucky. There's one. Watch this one. This is something else. One-handed. And he's not done. This one's not too shabby either. Laying out on the sideline. And finally, his 3rd touchdown of the day. And as Steve Spurrier told Aaron Andrews, he just has a knack to go up and have the ball stick to his hands. They got to get it in his hands, and they tried to get it in his hands.
That's a good call.
Couldn't.
Yep.
And a penalty marker as they try to get it to Jeffrey.
Kareem Jackson had his right arm wrapped around Jeffrey and knocked the ball away with his left hand.
On the defense, number 3. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
So that's going to be a first down as we go to Reese Davis. Reese. Well, that's one of the best and biggest games at the flats in Atlanta in a long time. Here's a flea flicker. Garcia. Deep ball. Man there.
That's interference, too.
No flags.
Yeah,
there it comes.
Yeah.
Mo Brown, the intended receiver. And Marquise Johnson, the guy who's in for Javier Arenas, is the guy that's going to be called for the flag.
Well, he was beat on the play. It was the flea flicker for South Carolina, and instinctively he just reached out and grabbed.
Obviously, we're having some trouble with Hubert Owens' referee microphone. And here's another look at the end of the play. He's draped all over him. Hit Mo Brown right in the helmet, and might have been a touchdown. If there's ever, I guess, a good penalty, that might not have been a bad one right there.
Yeah, obviously the difference in college football from pro football, that's not marked at the spot of the foul like it is in pro football. It is still a first down, but you don't give up the play inside the 10-yard line.
Here they are, Todd, down around at 35 again. Can they take advantage? They didn't last time. Pressure coming off the corner. The toss is the other way to Miles.
Another flag down. Chop block.
Well, we've had a trip and a chop block tonight.
And both in about the same part of the field.
Yeah.
You know, they get some momentum. They get in Alabama territory.
Personal foul. Chop block. Number 55 on the offense.
Oh, it's the same guy.
That penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot.
TJ Johnson guilty twice. The right guard. The trip and the chop block. And here they go back near midfield again.
He was engaged with another defender. And you can't do that.
Alabama jumped. Garcia long down the sideline and almost caught by D.L. Moore.
Alabama stopped playing on that play. I mean, not everybody, at least the coverage guys were still in it, but Darius jumped off sides and then he stopped. I mean, he thought they were going to blow the play dead, and Steven Garcia did the right thing. Go ahead and take a shot down the field.
Yeah, free play.
Yep.
Moore almost made a circus catch down
Offside. Number 57 on the defense. The penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Back and forth we go, courtesy of the flag.
Here's Darius. He's going to jump off sides and says, oh, shoot. Guess what? Better keep playing.
Alabama 3 defensive penalties on this drive alone. Well, South Carolina back in Alabama territory anyway. Garcia going to try another long ball for Jeffrey. Incomplete. Well, we knew they were going to get one out there with a jump ball and see what he could do.
Well, you've got Jeffrey, who's 6'3". You've got Torrey Gurley, who's 6'5", and you've got shorter cornerbacks for Alabama. So you throw it up there and you see if they can go up and make a play for you. And that's really well done by Marquise Johnson.
That was close for both guys.
Yep.
Johnson almost had an interception. Jeffrey almost took it away from him. A bunch of almosts at about the 3-yard line, and all it is an incomplete pass. Second down at 20. And we're down to a minute 13 remaining. in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, a long interception return for a touchdown by Alabama and a field goal. That's where we are. Garcia in trouble, trying to do something with his feet, and he's going to lose a couple. Brandon Dederick, the defensive end, made the stop. And that's 3rd down and a mile. They got to get all the way down near the 25-yard line to get a first down. Alabama's defensive front, Dederick and Washington. Big Terrence Cody, who's not in there right now because it's a passing situation. Garcia. Oh, and I don't know if he was trying to pull that back and couldn't re-grip, but it's incomplete.
You know, Alabama, the thing about their defense, Brad, is it's 3rd and long, right? They're not going to concede anything.
Right.
I mean, they don't even want to give up a 3 or 4 yard completion. They latch on to everything. That's Nick Saban's philosophy. They will match up with everything and try to stop even the shortest game.
Landon again to punts. High kick. Julio Jones is going to get out of the way, and this one's in the end zone too. Now that looks good as far as kicking it as far as you can, but it doesn't look good when it hits the end zone on the fly. Let's check in with Reese again. All right, Reese, so number 1 and number 3 survive. This is number 2. Alabama leading 10-0. Neither quarterback has done anything in this first quarter so far. And here's McElroy trying to do it with his legs and across the 25 to the 26-yard line. As the quarter comes to a close, South Carolina twice has gotten it down around the 35-yard line of Alabama and had to punt and punt it in the end zone and given it right back to the Crimson Tide offense. But it's been defense and special teams that has carried the first 15 minutes for Alabama. Tide at home, lead 10-0. Packed house, so packed that you just stand wherever you can. Over 92,000 here. Alabama leads as we enter the second quarter, 10-0. Mark Ingram, we talked about him coming into the game, one of the top backs in the country. Here's the 3 guys that had over 100 yards rushing a game and at least 10 touchdowns. Quiz Rogers at Oregon State, Toby Gerhardt, Stanford, and Mark Ingram, who's got 7 on the ground and 3 through the air so far in this 6-0 start for Alabama. And here he comes. Mark Ingram, corner, and more, puts his head down, drives his way into South Carolina territory, right on cue, 27 yards. Might have been shaken up at the end of the play. And he never comes out of a game because of injury, and he never puts the ball on the turf. Here's the end of a 27-yard gallop.
Oh, he lowered his shoulder to punish the guy coming to tackle him, what you want those physical backs to do. But at the end of it, got up and in some obvious pain right now.
Wow, I guess. So Upchurch will take his spot, and he'll get the carry right here. And he's cut down after a pickup of a couple. So just when we were sort of cheering the exploits of Mark Ingram on the season, we hope that this is something that's just minor.
And I said it earlier in the first quarter, and it still hasn't happened. And I think especially with Ingram on the sideline, Alabama's got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of Julio Jones at some point and get him involved in the game. He's too good of a player to not be involved in what you're doing offensively, and he hasn't touched it yet.
There he is, out to the top of your screen. On 2nd down and 8. McElroy comes the other way to the tight end. Got it complete. Going to be short of a first down. Colin Peak is about 2 yards shy as we check in with Aaron.
Guys, instantly Mark Ingram grabbing that left knee, and he looks to be in a considerable amount of pain, guys, as the trainers are working on him. And Todd, you mentioned Alabama needing to get the ball in Julio Jones's hands. Well, when the offense was over on the sidelines beforehand, Julio Jones getting work on his back and his left elbow. Trainers spending time with him, and that's a guy, obviously, coaches were saying yesterday they need to get healthy as well, but we'll keep you updated on Mark Ingram. He's walking right now, guys. They have him off the bench, trying to stretch out that knee.
Here's a pistol formation again, and the handoff to Richardson, trying to get to the outside. He got the first down and more. Some nifty footwork by Trent Richardson to pick up 14 yards and a first down.
Well, DJ Swearinger, a true freshman out of Greenwood, South Carolina, made a great play. I mean, he gets penetration behind the line of scrimmage. Watch 36. But he doesn't wrap him up and bring Richardson to the ground. And Richardson, once he gets out of that tackle, is able to get forward for the first down plus some.
Richardson not only showing good footwork, but he is fast. 10,500 meters in high school. And he picks up a big first down. Stays in there with McElroy in the shotgun. Greg fires, and it's incomplete. And that one was close to getting picked off, as Eric Norwood had a pretty good break on the ball from his outside linebacker position.
Eric Norwood read that play all the way. I mean, his eyes were on Greg McElroy. He guessed right, and he tried to come underneath that route and just not able to get the interception. But he read it and came underneath the out route and almost got his hands on the football.
You saw Mark Ingram trotting down on the sideline, warming up, hopefully getting ready to come back in for Alabama. Maybe one of those where you just took a big shot right on the bone, and it'll be bruised tomorrow, but if you run it off, you'll be able to play. Whoops, high snap, loose ball, look out. Matthews, the first guy there, and South Carolina's got the football.
And what Matthews did really smart is not try to pick it up and score with it. He realized there's people running after it, and he went to get it. And remember, Richardson's in there. He's played a lot as a true freshman, but it's a high snap, and then the timing of the play was busted up, and a blitz off the edge, and Matthews able to come away with the fumble. But that was a smart decision on his part to just fall on the football at midfield.
We talk so much about Norwood, sometimes we forget about the other defensive captain, Cliff Matthews, and he comes up with big plays a lot. That's his third fumble recovery of the year already. Now, South Carolina's offense, can they go in the right direction? That's the big question. Garcia, play action, in trouble. Down he goes. Big loss. And it's Corey Reamer, the linebacker.
Well, Corey Reamer did two things really well on this play. Number one, he maintained his contained position on the bootleg. He was not fooled, and he stayed in position to force the quarterback to go back the other way. Here he is. Now watch him come across the line of scrimmage, first of all, and contain the quarterback. He doesn't get beat on the bootleg. And then he chases Garcia down from the backside and gets a sack.
Reamer, one of the returning starters from last year's 12-2 Alabama team. Flags flying.
South Carolina has gone backwards just about, it feels like, every time they've gotten the ball.
Well, I'm going to give you a great stat to prove that point.
False start. Number 55 on the offense. The penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot.
The two teams combined, we've got 4 yards of passing.
Yeah.
And we're in the second quarter. -2 for South Carolina. Scores, highlights, and everything you're looking for from those three cities and all the teams involved. Garcia. Now he's got he had positive yardage. Is that an incomplete pass or a completion and a fumble?
They ruled it incomplete.
Well, this is a frustrated ball coach on the opposite side. Both these guys, Nick Saban and Steve Spurrier, have won national championships in the SEC. Nick with LSU, and Steve, of course, back in '96 with Florida. And the frustration shows on his face a lot, but the way things are going right now, this is a discombobulated South Carolina offense right now.
And the thing with Steve Spurrier, when he calls plays, he calls it like he's playing the game. I think he wishes he was out there rather than Steven Garcia. I mean, that's how into the offense he is.
Garcia, middle screen, completes it to Miles. And Miles gets out across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
Another turnover that their defense forced, and a failure to capitalize by the South Carolina offense because they start by going backwards. And now you got to at least hope that Lanning with a little more room,
yeah, I was going to say,
kick it to where they can cover it and make Alabama play a long field.
He's knocked 2 in the end zone. This time he should be able to air it out, and it shouldn't get there, but we'll wait and see. Julio Jones is way down there on the other end. Jones backpedals. He'll take it at the 9. Nice move by Jones. Well, they haven't been able to get it in his hands as a wide receiver, but he's done a nice job in there for Javier Arenas on punt returns and got a good return there. Alabama leading here in the second quarter at home, 10-0. The New York Giants quarterback nicknamed Easy E. You'll find out on NFL Countdown presented by IBM on ESPN 11 o'clock Eastern time. Mark Ingram is back in the backfield for Alabama. That's good to see. First down for the Tide. McElroy batted in the air, almost intercepted. Matthews, I think, is the guy that got the hand on it again. He had the fumble recovery just a few minutes ago.
Well, Matthews is 6'4", and he's got a big wingspan, and he times this up and gets his left hand on the football and almost catches it off the ricochet.
How big a play would that have been to do it all in one motion, huh? He's a good one of the defensive captains that we talked about. Second down at 10. So McElroy, we wondered how he'd respond after not playing well last week. Well, this is the best thing to do. Give it to Mark Ingram, your tailback, and let him run. And he's got another first down. So this is much like what we talked about coming in. An Alabama team that usually is on the plus side in the turnover margin, and they have an interception return for a touchdown. Then give it to number 22. That's your best bet.
And I think that little injury that we saw Ingram have, I think it might have just scared him more than anything. You know, just he got hit on the knee. Right. Maybe thought it was more serious. It's good to see him back in the game. And for South Carolina, I mean, we know Alabama's defense is really good, but they're not helping their cause either. They're hurting themselves quite a bit.
And self-destruction for the Gamecocks. Here's a short pass to Upchurch. And Upchurch, who's had a good game, Culliver brings him down, but not before he got to midfield. And another Alabama first down. Upchurch had to battle back. Last year he missed 4 of the last 5 games after having to have neck surgery. He's had a little bit of an ankle problem in the last couple of weeks. His ankle looks fine tonight. So first down right at midfield with just under 9.5 minutes to go in the first half. Ingram again. This time 2 or 3 before Darian Stewart wrapped him up.
What we're seeing out of this Alabama offense and Jim McElwain, the kind of plays that they're having success with, is really inviting the pass rush. They recognize and respect the pass rush ability of South Carolina. So we're seeing draws. We're seeing things where even the short pass to Upchurch, the play before that, show pass, let those guys come up the field, and then take advantage of their desire to rush the passer.
Eric Norwood's been a non-factor so far, although he did make a break on a ball that was almost an interception earlier in this quarter. Here's a pass to Richardson. Richardson makes a couple of guys miss, a stiff arm, and a first down after a pickup of 9.
Richardson is a physical guy. I mean, he doesn't look like a typical true freshman. 220 pounds. He's a big weightlifting guy. And watch his stiff arm. Boom, out of the way. C.C. Whitlock, the corner, came over and just got thrown to the ground as Richardson gets the first down.
Richardson out of Pensacola, Florida. Had over 2,000 yards last year as a senior running back. Had a game where he had 419 yards rushing. That's a little scary, even for a high school game. As we approach 8 minutes. And here he goes off the left side down to the 31-yard line. A pickup of about 7 more. Well, with 7:55 to go in the half, it's time for tonight's trivia question, which is Alabama's won every individual major college football award except one. Which is it? Think that one over. They add to that about every year, but basically there's about 6 or 7 that go back a long ways. Think about which one Alabama might not have garnered ever in their illustrious college football history. 7th play of the drive, 2nd down and 3. This time they're waiting for Richardson. Ajiboye from his defensive tackle position, and it's a loss on the play.
Yeah, that one looked like when Richardson got it, he's like, am I really supposed to run this? I mean, 91 is right in front of me. He's on our side of the backfield.
Lottie Ajiboye out of Riverdale, Georgia. 285-pounder who had a penalty that was costly earlier in this ball game. Still, South Carolina's hanging in there. It's only 10-0.
Yeah.
Third down and 8. McElroy scans things and throws short over the middle to Upchurch, who made a one-handed catch, but he's short of the first down.
Well, the umpire got knocked down and actually was somewhat involved in that tackle. I think he kind of tripped Upchurch up a little bit. Good to see him okay as well, but four-man rush for South Carolina, and McElroy has to dump it underneath. And right here, there's a little trip.
Dan Pulley with a nice tackle.
Yeah.
Good shot, Dan. Glad your head's okay. He's still smiling. Lee Tippin will come in to attempt a field goal. He hit his first one earlier from about 25 yards out. This will be about 49 away, and it's no good. To the left. So Alabama can't add to their 10-0 lead. Another break for South Carolina, but can they take advantage of it? We'll find out when we come back. Outside Bryant-Denny Stadium on a cool night in Tuscaloosa. Nick Saban, his team in front 10-0. The SEC on ESPN with 5:52 to go in the second quarter.
Come on, South Carolina. You got to do something on offense. 14 plays, 11 yards, 2 first downs, both of them by penalty.
Garcia hesitates, now fires to no man's land in the middle of the field. Kenny Miles, I guess, the closest intended receiver. Well, a little bit earlier we asked you tonight's trivia question, which was Alabama's won every individual major college football award except which one? Do you believe in all the years and all the national championships? No Heisman trophies. David Palmer finished the highest in '93 when he finished third. Charlie Ward won it that year.
Look at Rolando McClain just calling the signals, checking the defense, communicating to about 7 different guys on this play.
And now scaring Garcia, who walks up in the pocket and throws incompletes.
You know, it's interesting. When we talked to Rolando yesterday, he said, you know, my freshman year, it took me the whole year to just figure out what I was supposed to do. And then in my sophomore year, then I started understanding and putting together what everybody else is supposed to do. And now as a junior, I mean, now I look at this game and say, I'm in a chess match with Steve Spurrier. He's going to call and make checks at the line of scrimmage, and then I'm going to check to our defense, and I'm going to kind of try to counter what the ball coach does.
Here comes a blitz on 3rd and 10. Garcia got it to Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey. Can he take it? Down into Alabama red zone territory at the 16-yard line. Finally, they got it to number 1.
Well, finally, they got a play that looked decent. And it starts with Garcia feeling the pressure but not panicking. He steps up in the pocket and delivers the throw to Jeffrey. And then you see the burst that Jeffrey has. Not only the hands to make the catch in traffic, but then that explosion, that step through to get the ball upfield towards the goal line. Not able to score, but a big-time play for the Gamecocks.
Almost 5 times their previous offensive output just on that play. 52 yards down to the 16-yard line. That's Kenny Miles, and he lost 1 or 2. Terrence Cody is the guy that forced the play.
You know, it's funny because last year, I mean, he was such a media attention, Terrence Cody. And he's not getting the same kind of hype this year, but I think he's playing better. He's more active. You know, I mean, his weight is still kind of hovering around that 350 mark, but he's moving his feet and he's making plays, I think, more consistently this year.
Hovering. Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of like that silver flying saucer over in Colorado the other day. South Carolina trying to get a little bit of something going on the ground. Kenny Miles brought down by Eric Anders. Got a short gain. Well, with 4:15 left in the half, Todd, any kind of score is going to look good, but if they get a touchdown, it's going to be amazing if you haven't seen this first game, how inept South Carolina's been till that one play.
Yeah. Well, they've been inept on offense other than the play, but their defense has kept them around here.
Yeah.
You know, their defense has played okay. Garcia has to be a good decision maker right here. Whatever he does, he better do it quickly.
And he's going to talk it over on the sideline to make sure. Important play. Too important to let it slip away. South Carolina timeout, 3:47. Yeah. Flip those eggs any way you want them. Todd's Taste of the Town is coming up in a minute.
I've been calling games in Alabama for over 10 years, and one of the things I love about Tuscaloosa is just the feel of history and tradition that you get anytime you come through this town. Well, directly across the street from beautiful Bryant-Denny Stadium is a place that fits that description to a T. It opened in 1996, and it's called the Rama Jamma. Now, one step inside this place and you realize that the owner, Gary Lewis, loves the Crimson Tide. A lot of people come here because they prefer the lunchtime burgers. I happen to come for breakfast, and my favorite is the SEC Champ breakfast. 3 eggs cooked to order, a choice of smoked or country ham, hash browns or grits, but Gary gives me both, and 2 biscuits. Oh, yeah. Roll Tide roll.
Oh, that's a big boy breakfast there. You're not goofing around.
No.
You put anything on your grits?
Just some butter, salt, and pepper.
I like a little butter, a little cheese. You didn't take me with you.
No.
I was too lazy to get up. It's breakfast. Forget
First meal
about
of
it.
the day. You can eat big.
Oh boy. Roll Tide roll. Right now they got a 10-point lead. But South Carolina is down there close. If they can keep it going. 3rd down and 7. Pump fake on the swing pass. Middle. Screen. 1st and goal. Ball came out at the end. And I think he's going to be blown down. Mo Brown. So Mo Brown took a huge hit, and he's still face down. They needed 7 yards, and they got 8. Mo, one of the captains of the offense for South Carolina, and he took a wicked shot at about the 5-yard line right there, helmet to helmet, right in the ear hole on the left side.
Yeah, Robbie Green is the guy that hit him, and then Robbie Green took a shot from his own guy, Justin Woodall. I tell you, for South Carolina, though, back-to-back 3rd down conversions, and it must have felt like short yardage plays, because before that they had 3rd and 25, 3rd and 22, and 3rd and 21, and now they've converted 2 in a row.
Steve Spurrier even out there to have a look. You never know. Mo Brown might be unconscious out there with a hit he took. We'll check on him when we come back. All right, Reese, thank you. Both staffs, sports medicine staffs, are out there right now on the field attending to Mo Brown, the captain and senior wide receiver out of Anderson, South Carolina. He took a hit on a pass play, if you're just joining us, that picked up a 1st down and a 1st and goal. And the hit's coming, the helmet to helmet hit is right there. And as Brown goes down with the ball at about the 6-yard line, ball comes out. I don't think that's what we're even worried about here. I don't think it was a fumble anyway. And our concern right now is obviously with the wide receiver of the Gamecocks, as they've got the board out there and the stretcher and the cart to try to get him up and in the locker room. And you can see they have him strapped down, his face mask off, and has been immobilized. His quarterback, Stephen Garcia, looking on, and everybody here concerned, 92,000 plus, and the opposing players as well. So everybody kind of holding their breath and saying a little prayer that Mo Brown is going to be okay. And again, this is just precautionary. We're not saying that We don't know anything about the severity of the injury other than he was face down for so long that you wonder whether or not he had gotten knocked out. That seemed that way. And there's the thumbs up. That's what you love to see, first of all.
Well, you're always going to err on the side of caution in a situation like this, which is definitely the right thing to do. And
so Mo is conscious right now with his eyes open, the thumbs up. And he'll head to the locker room. His quarterback gives him a little pat on the side of the stretcher, basically, not on him. And again, both training staffs out there. Both South Carolina, and there's Bill McDonald of Alabama, sports medicine director, right there with his hand on Mo's stomach. You love to see the teamwork from the two training staffs, too, don't you? And in fact, Bill's the guy that's going to drive him in to the locker room. So we'll try to get a further report. Obviously, the first half is winding down, and we might be able to get some kind of preliminary report, or maybe Aaron can get something as we start the third quarter. Meanwhile, back to the game at hand. South Carolina's got it first and goal, trailing 10-0. They're in a great position here to make it very much a ball game before halftime. First and goal. Garcia going to throw the fade. Jeffrey, the intended receiver, but the ball thrown well beyond his outstretched arms, and Johnson, the corner, who was covering. Let's check in with Aaron.
Brad, the training staff actually is talking to South Carolina sports information directors right now, so I don't want to guess what they were saying, but what I did hear is that Mo Brown was unconscious for a little bit. We saw the raise of his hands, and he did start talking to his teammates.
That's a great sign. Thanks, Ike. Second and goal. Same play. Knocked away. He had it in his hands.
Well, the first time they tried it, Garcia didn't give him a chance because he threw it too far inside. This time he gives him a chance. He throws it more outside where Jeffrey can go up and get both hands on the ball. But credit Marquise Johnson for getting his hand in there and knocking the ball out. I thought this was going to be a touchdown. Yeah. Jeffrey had both hands on the ball, and Marquise Johnson stuck his hand right up in between them and pulled the ball out.
Tell you what, Marquise Johnson's done a nice job in there for Javier Arenas, who would have been playing that corner. He plays a lot anyway, especially in a 5 DB situation, but he's manning that spot now. They're going to try it again. 3 in a row. Incomplete.
Steve Spurrier is the only coach I've ever seen that will continue to call a play because he's over on the sideline saying, you know what, doggone it, it's open, it's there, we should be able to score, get that ball up and let Alshon go up and make a play, but 3 times in a row they're denied.
They had first and goal at the 5, and now they have to settle for a field goal. But as we said, anything before halftime would be an improvement over the way things were going for most of 2 quarters. Lanning to try to finally put South Carolina on the board. 22-yard field goal attempt, and he's got it up and good. So they got the long pass play to Jeffrey. They got down to first and goal with Mo Brown, who's taken to the locker room. And then this one didn't work 3 times in a row, but the field goal did. 10-3. Now the Gamecocks come up short of the end zone, but they do get a field goal to cap a 63-yard drive in 10 plays. Used about 2.5 minutes to get that field goal. It's 10-3, Alabama in front. You know, you were talking about Steve Spurrier as Alshon Jeffrey 3 times. This one was too deep. Now this one was the most catchable, and he got his hands on it. And then, as only the head ball coach would do, it's there, we're going to get it. And as Todd said, he was almost kind of ramma-jamming that thing in the corner. And by the way, if you want to win a $100 gift certificate to Ramma-Jamma, where Todd ate, log on to ESPN.com, search Taste of the Town, and tell us why you deserve a nice breakfast or lunch at Ramma-Jamma. And flag flies in on the kick return out to the 33-yard line.
I'll tell you what, $100 will get you a long way at Ramma-Jamma, too.
You could take the family for breakfast, maybe.
During the return, holding, number 36 on the receiving team. That penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
That's the 5th penalty against Alabama. Chris Jordan, the guilty party on that one. Now there's Gary Lewis, the owner of Ramma-Jamma. Just a little bit of a resemblance, especially the hair.
A lot of people have have wondered about that, taking some double takes of Gary. And Gary said, he's great. He says, you know what? Nick Saban takes care of his business on one side of Wallace Wade Boulevard. I take care of my business on the other side.
And they both do a very good job of it, yeah. So Alabama is backed up inside its own 20-yard line. 3:07 left in the half. All timeouts remaining for the Tide. Here's Ingram. And Mark gets cartwheeled by Culliver again as we check in with Aaron.
Brad, just wanted to give you a little more information on Mo Brown. Saw him taken off on a cart and a stretcher. We saw him put his fists up, thumbs up in the air, has use of his arms and legs. Great news. He was smiling at his teammates as they drove him off. They're taking him to the hospital right now for further tests. Obviously want to check out to see if there's any damage with his spinal cord or anything like that. Hoping not so, obviously.
Everything's looking good then. We'll keep our fingers crossed for Mo, who's the leading receiver for South Carolina coming into this game. That was his 22nd catch of the year for a big 1st and goal, but they had to settle for the field goal. Wilson makes a stop on Ingram.
Again, we mentioned the reason South Carolina is hanging around in this game is because of their defense. And they've got a couple guys on their defensive staff. Ellis Johnson is the assistant head coach and in charge of the defense. And then Lorenzo Ward is entitled the defensive coordinator. Lorenzo Ward played at Alabama, and Ellis Johnson coached at Alabama 2 different times under Gene Stallings and also Mike Dubose. So a pretty special game for those 2 guys.
And here is Ingram into the secondary. Mark Ingram in a foot race with Culliver all the way to the 18-yard line. He'll get 5, he'll get 6, he'll get 2, and then he'll rip one off for 50-something, as he did right there.
Yeah, and again, it's the patience and the vision. Watch him be patient as he lets this play develop. He sits in there and he gets a good block from Barrett Jones, number 75, and then just explodes through the hole. Coming into tonight's game, he was 2nd in the nation with runs, explosive runs of over 10 yards.
That one was 54, down to the 18-yard line. Richardson will give him a breather. Career-long carry for Mark Ingram. Richardson got about a yard. Nathan Pepper, the defensive tackle, is the first guy to wrap him up. Norwood comes in there and gets a little chippy. And Alabama wants a timeout with 1:10 remaining in the half. So when it looked like it might be a 10-3 game at halftime, it's changed in a hurry, courtesy of Mark Ingram, because Alabama's down close again. Alabama leads, and they're down in the red zone again, courtesy of a long gainer by Mark Ingram. They lead 10-3 with 1:10 remaining. They've still got 2 timeouts left. With Todd Blackledge and Aaron Andrews, I'm Brad Nessler. Nice to have you along with us with our ESPN crew on a cool night in West Alabama. At the 18-yard line, McElroy in the gun. Greg, little jump pass, and it's incomplete. Too low for Upchurch.
I want to go back to this run because Alabama, I think, even though they had timeouts and some time, was kind of content to just run the clock out at halftime until this happened. When Ingrid busted out a 54-yard run, all of a sudden now they say, hey, wait a minute. We can put some more points on the board. I really think Nick Saban was content to just say, let's go in 10-3, make a few adjustmts, and then we'll go from there. But Ingram changed that whole philosophy right now.
Now they don't want to make a mistake on 3rd and 10, that's for sure. And McElroy in and out of the hands of Julio Jones. So they're going to have to settle for a Tiffin field goal. But still, it's a big 3 that they weren't planning on, like you said, Todd.
And Alabama will get the ball to start the second half. So if they convert here, it's kind of a 2-for-1 because they'll get points, they'll take momentum into the locker room, and they'll get the football to start the second half.
Tiffin hit one and missed one. This will be a 35-yard attempt with just over a minute to go in the half. And this one is good. So lead Tiffin from 35 yards following the big run by Ingram, and it tacks 3 more on for the Crimson Tide. Still about a minute to play with, and one that starts with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's at 7 o'clock Eastern Time Monday. Probably in the 40s right now. Yeah, you got to wrap up with the flags, whatever you can find. because it's a chilly night in Tuscaloosa. Obviously, the first night that these two teams have played in definitely fall-like conditions.
Steve Spurrier was talking to me before the game. He said, you know, last week against Kentucky at home, it was 90 degrees.
Right.
He said, you know, he was down the field before the game. He said, I think our guys will probably think this feels pretty good. It's not too cold. It was ridiculously hot last weekend. Those guys don't seem to mind.
No. That might be part of that warm-up that Nick was talking about at the pep rally last night.
The juiced up thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiffin to kick off. Bryce Sherman is back deep this time. And they're just going to line drive it. It's going to be taken by one of the up men at about the 32-yard line. And not bad field position out to the 41. Justice Cunningham, the backup tight ends, does a pretty good job to get it across the 40. So still an opportunity here. 52 seconds to go.
52 seconds, one timeout for South Carolina. But again, with Stephen Garcia, this is only his 10th start. Your team is right in the game. Your defense is hung in there. You finally got something going the last possession. Be smart here in the last minute. Don't give Alabama a free chance to score again. So be smart. If you go aggressive, be smart with it.
He's 4 out of 14 with an interception so far tonight. That was a pretty good throw. Jeffrey, the intended receiver, may have been a little bit behind him, but Johnson broke it up again. Johnson and Barron were both there. Sometimes the problem when you have a guy like number one in the game he had last week, which was sensational with 3 touchdown catches, you think, you know what, I found my new favorite guy, and you kind of get locked in on him a little bit. Tonight they tried 3 times on the fade on their last drive. That time they tried to tuck one in on a crossing pattern. So the last 4 he's thrown towards Jeffrey, all incomplete. That one high. Incomplete. The intended for the tight end, Wesley Saunders, who didn't play last week, coming back from an ankle problem. And now it's 3rd down and 10.
It's so hard for a quarterback to get in rhythm against this Alabama defense. You know, you look at what they've done to the quarterbacks they've played this year. Ryan Mallett of Arkansas, Jevin Sneed of Ole Miss had their worst days by far this season against this Alabama defense. And Stephen Garcia, not much better here in the first half.
Missed his last 5 passes, and now he's forced into a 3rd and 10. And this time they'll just run a draw play and see if they can get the first. And they got it. Kenny Miles, his best run of the night.
Yep. See, when you're running a 2-minute offense or a clock offense, it's so important to get that first down. Now the clock stops till they get reset. You're across the 50. Now you can be a little more aggressive again and see if you can get in scoring territory.
Miles picked up 12 and got it into Alabama territory. Now back to the gun with 33 seconds to go. Garcia steps up. He's going to keep it. A lot of room to run. 35 to 30 and bumped out of bounds. Nice run. There's his out-of-pocket experience.
That's right. Out-of-pocket experience. And one of the things with this Alabama defense, because they play so much man coverage and try to match your routes, kind of like a matchup zone in basketball, they turn their back to the quarterback a lot. And if the quarterback gets away from the initial pressure and you don't have discipline in rushing the quarterback, it can hurt you. Now, they haven't played many mobile quarterbacks, but Garcia, athletic out of the pocket, sees the defense, and gets another first down.
Might have him in field goal range right now, but they'd like more if they could get it. Garcia, after a 21-yard run, is going to try another one, and he got 9 more, maybe 10, maybe more than 10.
Well, he could have definitely got more than 10. It looked like he tried to duck his head to get out of bounds and realize, you know what, I could have maybe kept running. But again, Alabama more concerned with coverage down the field than they are the quarterback leaving the pocket. And 2 plays in a row, Garcia has made a good decision.
12, then 21, and then 12 more. He did get more than the first down marker. 15 seconds remaining. Now you don't want to mess up the field goal opportunity if you don't get a touchdown. Do they try to throw the fade again? At the 14-yard line. Garcia, the fade again to the corner and bounces off. Marquise Johnson.
Marquise is going to go over to Steve Spurrier and say, hey, look, I'm holding my own against you, boss.
I don't care if it hits me in the head or the back.
It's the same guy against the same corner. And the same result. Incomplete for South Carolina. Now, there was some contact. A lot of contact.
And it doinks Johnson. Well, it actually hit Jeffrey's hand, I guess. I thought it hit Johnson in the back of the helmet.
You know, that was mutual contact, though.
Okay.
I mean, Marquise had a hand on his guy, and Alshon had a hand on his guy, and the result was another incompletion.
He's got one catch. It was the 52-yarder that got him down close last time. 10 seconds left, an all-important 10 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Steve Spurrier right in the thick of things with his quarterback, Steven Garcia. What's he telling him right now, Todd?
Well, he's obviously calling. They've got, you know, a chance to still throw to the end zone. I have not seen on tape them throw a stop fade, but now would be a good time for it, or something obviously different than the fade. Alabama is locked in on those fades and the big receivers. A stop fade, you show fade, you run it the same way, and the quarterback throws it to his outside shoulder on the line, and only the receiver reacts to the football.
One thing we know, he won't be throwing it to the right if he throws it to Jeffrey, because he's down to the left side. 10 seconds left in the half, second down and 10. Garcia across the middle, tipped, almost intercepted by McClain.
Boy, a lot of traffic in there, going for his tight end Saunders.
Take it back, it was Woodall who almost intercepted it.
Again, Alabama, they are stingy. I mean, there's a reason they're so good on defense. I mean, they match pass patterns, and they, when you get plays on them, you have to earn it. They're not going to give you anything for free.
Lanning hit from 22. This is going to be a 31-yard field goal attempt to try to make it a 7-point game again. And now Alabama takes a timeout. Well, South Carolina, they came in 5-1, 2-1 in the conference. You talk about close finishes. Rennie Curran makes a play for Georgia right now, and that might have been a different story in their loss to the Bulldogs. Just a great individual play. They lost to Georgia. And then they had one of those go their way against Kentucky. 2-point conversion pass was knocked down by Cliff Matthews, who's made a couple of big defensive plays tonight. And they survived that one, 28-26. So they come in 5-1, ranked number 22 in the country. And they have beaten a top 5 team already this year in Ole Miss. They have never beaten a team ranked number 2, which is what Alabama is. The highest ranked team they've ever beaten was number 3 North Carolina back in 1981. Now after the timeout, Spencer Lanning in to attempt the 31-yard field goal. And the kick is up and good. And that will bring the first half to a close. Boy, but a big, big field goal. Nice drive by South Carolina to get it down there and get 3 more. So both teams with some fireworks in the last 3.5 minutes of the second quarter. But as they head to the locker room, it's Alabama on their home field with a touchdown lead. Tied 13, South Carolina 6. We check in with Aaron.
Coach Steven Garcia doing a good job running the ball, but what's been his biggest problem when he's in the red zone?
Well, we've struggled all over the place offensively, but our defensive guys have hung in there. We've given up some run yards, but they only got 13, so hopefully we can get something going in the second half.
I know you wanted him to get it to Alshon Jeffrey. You tried 5 times. What's the biggest problem?
Well, we threw it out of the end zone once, and I guess they covered him the other times.
Any update on Mo Brown, Coach?
He was talking, and they say he should be okay, but he had a bad concussion.
All right, thank you. Brad?
All right, thank you. Halftime, 13-6, Alabama in front on their home field. Should be a good second half here in Tuscaloosa. Time now, though, for the Wendy's halftime report with Reese Davis and the guys. Reese?
It's start time. It's show time. It's my time. Get out of my way. It's crunch time. Don't waste time. It's game time. So get ready to play. We about to kick it off. 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 We about to to set it off. We about to set it off. Ready, so get ready to play. It's start time. It's showtime. It's prime time. Get out of my way.
College football prime time presented by Hampton Hotels. Just about set for the third quarter from Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. Our SEC on ESPN matchup number 2 Alabama leading number 22 South Carolina 13-6. As we take a look at our first half statistics brought to you by Chase Sapphire. Most of that 173 rushing yards. Mark Ingram's for 206 total, and a lot of turnover problems by both teams. One led to the only touchdown of the night, and that was Mark Barron's 77-yard interception return for the opening score of the ball game. Spencer Lanning to kick off. Terry Grant and Trent Richardson are back deep as we start the third quarter. It'll be Richardson at the 10-yard line. And Richardson cuts to the outside on the far side of the field. Flags are down as he got a great return. But again, a penalty marker down at about the 30-yard line. And it's holding, and it's all coming back. So mistakes have been a big part of this game tonight. When we came in, Todd, we talked about an Alabama team that takes care of the football. Mark Ingram is their kind of cornerstone, capstone, if you want to say it, when you're in Tuscaloosa. He's been the guy tonight that's carried the load for Alabama.
And he's been great. You know, he looked like he might have had an injury earlier. He bounced back from that. And he's had a couple big-time plays. I mean, this guy in the first half, 146 yards rushing. He averaged 10 yards per carry, so it wasn't just nickel and dime stuff. A couple big explosive plays in there, and he has been the offense. Meanwhile, Stephen Garcia, we said he'd have to get out of the pocket, make some plays with his arms and his feet. He did that to set up a couple scores for them. He must throw the ball better in this second half. Only completed 22% of his passes in the first half.
Yeah, his first pass was an out-of-socket experience. Here's McElroy, who wasn't very sharp in the first half either. And that pass is caught. Wow. Marquise Mays, tough catch, 13-yard pickup.
Yeah, that pass was kind of a floater, and it looked like an interception and ended up a completion. It was thrown a little bit inside, and normally when you throw an out inside, it's trouble.
Oh,
that was an interception taken away by Marquise Mays.
Nice job just stealing that ball back. Should have been picked off by Whitlock. So first down out at the 33-yard line. That's Ingram. Tripped over his own guy, I think. Colin Peak, the tight end. And that's what Mark's saying. Brought down by friendly fire there. But what a first half. Again, well on his way maybe to another career high. He had 172 last week. As Todd said, 146 in the first half, including that 54-yard run when it looked like Alabama might be content to go to the locker room the way it was, but he changed their mind. Richardson will take his spot in the backfield with McElroy in the shotgun. On second down and 8. Flares it out to Richardson. Nice job defensively by South Carolina. Let's check in with Aaron.
Brad, I spoke to Nick Saban coming out of the half, and I asked him about the red zone again. You know, they've had to settle for 2 field goals, and he said, yeah, we're just not throwing the ball efficiently there, and if that continues to be a problem, then we're going to have problems. He said it was very disappointing. I asked him what the focus for the second half was. He said just reestablishing themselves, because guys, remember, Nick Saban was not happy with the way this team played in the second half against that Ole Miss game. They didn't sustain their intensity. They had mental errors, and I got to tell you, some of the guys walked out of the tunnel right in front of me, and Nick Saban got all over them.
Doesn't want that second half to happen again. McElroy flush throws on the run and incomplete. Julio Jones, the intended receiver, and they continue to have trouble trying to get it to number 8.
Well, they continue to have trouble getting their quarterback in a rhythm. We mentioned last week Greg McElroy had some problems against Ole Miss. Was 15 of 34 for 147 yards, and tonight not even close to that. He was 5 of 12 in the first half and missed a couple here on their first possession.
Of his last 2 throws, C.C. Whitlock was a lot closer to catching it than his intended receiver. P.J. Fitzgerald with his first punt of the night for Alabama. Nice high kick. Gilmore will take it at the 22. With a dance out to maybe the 28-yard line. Steven Garcia, in the first half, we talked about what he did with his feet, but with his arm, not so good, Todd.
Well, he looked a little bit puzzled and confused. He wasn't sure what he could do with the football, and credit the Alabama defense. They are great at creating confusion. You can see he never gets his feet set or looks comfortable standing in the pocket and throwing. And really, it wasn't until he left the pocket and ran a couple times late in the half that South Carolina got anything going offensively. So a very disruptive first half for both of the quarterbacks in this game.
You see 7 straight incompletions to end the first half. 4 out of 18, not good. On the ground, they've had a couple of runs tonight by Kenny Miles. This one, positive yardage again. Brandon Dederick made the stop. But when you talk about how good Alabama's defense is, well, when you look at that right-hand column, they're in the top 10 in just about everything you can think of. Number 2 overall in defense. 5th in the country against the rush.
Well, the big reason for that is 7 of the 11 starters on this defense are seniors. They're a mature defensive football team.
Oh, dangerous pass intended for Miles. Andrews was out there covering the outside linebacker. Now they find themselves in a 3rd and 6 again. Eric Andrews, he's been a pleasant surprise at outside linebacker.
Yeah, he's kind of an undersized guy, but he really is fast, and he rushes the passer.
Well, he's their jack position, I guess I should call it. Kind of a combination safety linebacker. All 4 of Garcia's completions have come on 3rd down. If you're a South Carolina fan, you can hope for something more of the same here. I don't think he's going to get a chance to pass. Well, sort of a shot put. Incomplete. Marquise Johnson came off the corner with the added pressure. And again, a frustrated head coach on the sideline with his offense sputtering, but still only trailing by 7.
The problem is when you get into 3rd downs against this Alabama defense, it becomes very difficult because Nick Saban is as good as there is at attacking your protections and creating confusion for the quarterback and the offensive line. And that has been the pattern all tonight and all season for Alabama.
Lanning has been a pretty busy punter tonight for the Gamecocks. Julio Jones at the 22. Great first move. Julio Jones flags down. It's going to negate, it appears, a nice return out to the 40-yard line. And that is really the only way they have gotten number 8 involved on special teams.
And how about this? The guy that drew the penalty for Alabama, or for South Carolina, is Eric Norwood, who is on the punt team in that particular play. Your best defensive player running down to cover the punt.
Illegal block in the back. Number 37 on the receiving team. That penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
3rd special teams penalty going against Alabama. They will have the ball, but not as good a field position on offense when we come back to Tuscaloosa in a moment. First BCS standings come out somewhere between 4 and 4:40 Eastern time tomorrow. 3rd of the coaches poll, a 3rd from the Harris poll. The panelists are coaches and players, media, administrators, and then the computer rankings. High and low, the 6 are thrown out. So tomorrow we'll find out the BCS, if it's going to be Florida number 1, will it be Alabama number 2, Texas number 3, and so on, or will things change? We've got a long way to go in this football game, and that'll have a bearing on it. You can bet. Ingram bounces off the blockers and the tacklers, and still on his feet, Mark Ingram to the 42-yard line. It's as good a run as you're going to see.
He's such a hard guy to tackle because he's built low to the ground, and he's powerfully built. He's 5'10", 215 pounds, and he's got excellent balance. Watch, he just bounces off of would-be tacklers. This could have been tackled in the backfield, and instead, it's a huge gain as he just keeps bouncing and running forward.
First down for Alabama at the 43-yard line. In the pistol formation, play action. McElroy wants a long ball, going deep for Jones. And a flag down, incomplete. And they're trying to pull all the stops to get at number 8's hands. Career high for Mark Ingram, by the way, with that last run, and that betters what he did a week ago, which was 172. He's got 174 on the ground right now.
Well, and he just keeps getting better. He had 140 against Kentucky, and then he had 172, like you mentioned, against Ole Miss, and 174 tonight. So I guess if you're wondering which guy is the feature back for Alabama, that's the guy.
Yeah, we talked about him at the top of the show, that if you talk about determination and discipline and holding on to the football, I mean, he's up around 300 touches in his career, and he's only fumbled once, and they didn't lose that fumble. I mean, think about that statistic by itself. When we talked to him yesterday, he said, you know, we've won 6 games, but we really haven't done anything yet. And we asked him, you know, what are the distractions when you're playing for a team as good as Alabama? You hear all the talk, the internet stuff, the radio talk shows. And he said, well, you know what? We like our fans. We love our fans, and you have to respect our fans. But we have to stay with the team concept. Pretty sharp kid and a heck of a running back. McElroy jumps it out to him on a screen behind his blockers. Mark Ingram out to midfield.
Well, they got a lot of the yardage back from the penalty. There was an offensive pass interference penalty on Colin Peak the play before this, where they tried to go downfield to Julio Jones, and they come right back with the short throw to Ingram, and that's pretty good passing philosophy. Throw short to this guy and let him make something happen with the ball. They haven't had any success throwing down the field. Let's throw short to Ingram and let him take it downfield.
A well-deserved rest for Mark. And Richardson comes in again. And again, this the pistol formation with Richardson behind McElroy in the shotgun. South Carolina with a flag down, waiting for it this time. He got past the line of scrimmage, but penalty marker down. They've been really successful in that formation running the football.
Yeah.
It looks like an odd setup because you're basically back about 7 yards before you ever get going, but they've done a good job with it. In this case, another chop block. We've seen 2 or 3 of those. Well, we've seen a trip and 2 chop blocks tonight. Right. It's the 9th penalty against Alabama, and that guy does not like penalties or turnovers.
Number 78 on the offense. That penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot. Replay second down.
It's one of the captains, too. He's been around a long time. Mike Johnson, the left guard. Made more starts on that front wall than anybody else for the Tide, but that backs it up to the 35-yard line. So it's second down and 18 there. Three wide receivers for McElroy. Greg wants to throw and trips as he throws and almost hit the umpire. It was intended for Darius Hanks. And it's been a tough night for number 12. He had really had things smoothly rolling along through the first 5 games. Then a tough outing against a very tough Ole Miss defense. And now tonight there's the numbers.
And this is just something that he's just going to have to battle himself through. I mean, he's not having a good night, but there's a lot of football left, and his team still has the lead. So he just has to find a way to get himself in a little better rhythm than he is right now.
Tight end Colin Peak sets up in the backfield. Flare it out, incomplete, intended for Roy Upchurch. So the incomplete passes continue to fly around Bryant-Denny Stadium for both teams. And Lorenzo Ward, defensive coordinator over there, cheering on his defense. You mentioned Lorenzo not only played here, he played for 2 different coaches here, Bill Curry and Gene Stallings. And so P.J. Fitzgerald, his second punt of this quarter. Another high kick, fair catch, taken at about the 17-yard line by Gilmore. South Carolina's getting the ball back when we return. They only trail by a touchdown with 9:18 to go, third quarter. Denny chimes here on the Alabama campus. South Carolina taking over their worst starting field position, their own 17-yard line. You know, Steve Spurrier, after success at Duke, goes on and runs those kind of records together. And then in '96, a national championship right there. And with all those 10-win-plus seasons, how frustrating it must be, even though, you know, he's done some nice things at South Carolina. He wants to see this thing get in gear a little bit. And so far, Alabama's defense won't let them.
And it's the crazy thing is he's almost had to reinvent himself because, you know, when he was at Florida and his pass offense took the SEC by storm, I mean, some people jokingly suggested that Steve said to defensive coordinators, you know, if you can't stop them, let them score so we can have the ball back. And now, you know, now his attitude is, hey, we play pretty good defense. Hopefully our offense can not screw it up for our defense. And that's very different for Steve Spurrier.
Here's Garcia on 2nd and 9. It's a good throw and a completion short of the first down, but Jason Barnes has got a 7-yard pickup. Brings up at least a manageable 3rd down situation. So they haven't had a lot of 3rd and short yardage situations tonight. Here's 3rd and 2. This is where maybe Garcia, should he get in trouble, can do it on his own by running. Alabama thinking about bringing some pressure off the corners.
So they showed something. So Steve Spurrier is changing the play for Garcia.
Gonna have to hustle. Garcia, quick throw, 1st down. And that's complete out to Jason Barnes.
See, that was a blitz adjustment throw, expecting the blitz off the corner. Alabama showed pressure, and then they backed out of it, but South Carolina was still able to get the completion for the 1st down. Alabama is one of the few defenses that will wait till the offense adjusts with an audible, and then they'll make an adjustment too. So here it goes again. Steve Spurrier is changing the play. Now look at Rolando McClain. He's changing the defense. So he's letting the offense audible, and now he's going to change the defense as well.
Option. The pitch to Miles. And Miles out across the 30 to the 32.
So why is this significant? Because so many teams have gone to spread offenses and they call the game at the line of scrimmage. And you see quarterbacks and receivers look to the sideline to get a play call change from the head coach or the offensive coordinator. But most defenses, they're not willing to make a change late in the play. Alabama does. If the coach tries to change it, they're going to try to change their defense as well to be in the perfect defense.
2nd down and 7 here. Garcia flares it out too far in front of Kenny Miles, and Miles had miles to run in front.
Yes, he did, and that's Steve Spurrier knew it. Alabama got caught on that one. Nobody was coming out to get the back. Rolando McClain was a little bit late getting out there.
Wow.
And if he catches that, it's an easy 1st down and maybe more.
He's probably to midfield at the worst if he makes that catch, but it's way out too far in front of him. Again, McClain looking around. Defensive whiz against an offensive whiz. So far, defense winning 13-6. Here they come. Garcia, he has time. Got it to Miles, and it's a 1st down. And that pass was a little bit high, but give Kenny Miles credit for snaring it, picking up 11 yards on 3rd and 7.
This kind of a play takes some patience. Steven Garcia's got to wait for Miles. He's going to set in there and show like he's blocking, and McClain read it and just barely got that throw over his head. He knew that they were beat, but he thought he might be able to get the deflection.
That just missed his hand. So it's a 1st down out at the 43-yard line. The intensity of the All-American linebacker. Here's a draw play. And Miles, nice run. Almost 10 more. Eric Anders brought him down, but he got 9 yards.
The center, Lemieux, Jean-Pierre did a nice job getting a block on this time on Rolando McClain. Take a look at the block on McClain. St. Pierre is going to come off, get right into his body, and the best looking normal running play or standard running play for South Carolina tonight.
South Carolina not huddling, and that seems to be working for them. They got a little bit of rhythm up until that whistle. 8th play of the drive. I think they're just resetting the ball a little bit.
South Carolina going with a different offensive line combination here to start the 2nd half than they started the game with. Garrett Anderson now the center.
Miles out of bounds with a 1st down.
In the 1st half, T.J. Johnson started the game at right guard. He was the guy who got a couple of those costly penalties on him. So now they've taken Jean-Pierre, who started the game at center, number 57, and moved him over to right guard. And Garrett Anderson is in there at center now. So a different combination than the group that started the game. A little more success running the football here for South Carolina.
Another Gamecock first down at the Tide 41. Here comes Reamer on a blitz. Garcia throws it by him, incomplete. So again, Alabama mixing it up, bringing Corey Reamer. The inside linebackers on the blitz. A little over 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Steve Spurrier looking on. The guy calling the signals on the right, Orlando McClain. The chess match continues between those two. And with Kirby Smart, the defensive coordinator for Alabama. Over the middle, Garcia. Saunders had his hand on it, and it's incomplete.
McClain reading the tight end. Saunders missed the Kentucky game with an ankle injury. Maybe not quite 100%, but back in the ball game, and McClain right there to get in on the defense.
Well, they've converted a couple of third downs on this drive, but none this long. 3rd and 10. The Alabama fans know that. They back out of extra pressure. Almost got to Garcia anyway, and he's got a wide open tight end. Flag down as Saunders has got it.
It's going to be a hold on South Carolina. There's only a 3-man rush, and you would think they'd be okay protecting their quarterback with 5 offensive linemen against 3 rushers, but the holding call nonetheless.
Marcel Darius was the guy coming around the top end. I don't know if the hold was on him or not, but he got the most pressure. That'll negate a first down.
Holding on the offense. Number 66. The penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
Yeah, it's on Hutch Eckerson, the right tackle.
Yeah, right here. Working on Darius, a young, very impressive defensive lineman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He got all of that one.
And just got beat right from the get-go. He was slow getting out of his stance, and he got beat on the edge, and a costly penalty because they had the first down picked up.
This is the 4th time tonight the Gamecocks have had it 3rd down and 20 or longer. Not the spot you want to put yourself in. Garcia, the quick throw, screen pass, and guess who?
Yeah.
All over Miles is Orlando McClain.
So you fooled me once and picked up a first down on that little play.
That was a shame on him.
Yeah.
You ain't going to fool me twice.
Not
Forget
again.
it. What a player. So a punting situation for Spencer Lanning. At the 11-yard line is Jones. Julio with a stiff arm. Cuts outside. Look out. Another stiff arm at the 45-yard line. Nice return by Julio Jones.
You know, it was really a low punt by Lanning, and it gave Julio a chance to make a big play. He hasn't been able to catch one, but he made it that way.
Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM on ESPN, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time Sunday. Greg McElroy's had a tough night for Alabama. Most of their yardage on the ground. This throw is caught. Flags down. Colin Peak, the tight end, has got a first down, but again a penalty marker on the play. Pick up a 15 if it's good. Peak, a transfer from Georgia Tech, who sat out last year. Nice addition to the offense here for Alabama. 6'6", 255-pounder. Holding call, and they'll decline that and take the 15-yard pass play, I'm assuming, as we check in with Reese Davis. Reese? All right, Reese. Todd Reesing doesn't get enough credit, does he? First down, Alabama. South Carolina territory. Here's Ingram. It's one of the few times tonight he's going to be dropped for a yard loss as we check in with Aaron.
Hey, Brad, good news for South Carolina. The one piece of good news I can give them so far, Mo Brown, who was taken out on a stretcher, he's actually coming back from the hospital. He's going to fly home with the team. Nothing serious to report, just a concussion.
Oh, that's great news. Yep. Thanks, EA.
Yeah.
So Mo Brown, the captain of the offense, who made a big catch that got him down to a 1st and goal and led to a late field goal in the 2nd quarter, is okay. And so any of maybe his relatives and friends that were watching, we can give you good news. It's good news for everybody. 2nd down and 11. McElroy, look out! They got him this time, and the ball's out.
And that's the specialty. That's the one thing they've really worked on, is when they get to the quarterback, knock the ball out. This was Clifton Geathers, number 96, who not only knocked the ball out, but recovered the fumble. It's one thing to get the sack, which Geathers is going to do. But it's another thing altogether to knock the ball out and get a turnover. And Geathers did both.
And Uncle Jumpy'd be proud because he used to do that in the NFL. Geathers did it all. The sack, the force, the fumble recovery. And there's a big break that South Carolina was looking for. Now let's see if their offense can take advantage. Again, that's been the problem. They're still only trailing the number 2 team in the country by a touchdown with a little over 2.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Alabama, you almost never see him on the back end of a turnover margin. Tonight they are. Maddox in the backfield, and he is drilled by Cody and company, and a loss of 1.
I mean, Terrence Cody is so difficult to block on a running play. I mean, he's just big, and he plays with leverage, and you just can't move him out of there. So if you try to run inside, good luck against him, because he is like an immovable object in the middle of the defense.
Came out of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College last year. As Todd said, just splashed on the scene. Got the great nickname of Mount Cody. And right there just flattened the running back for a loss. Garcia on 2nd and 11. Rolling, and will get what he can and get out of bounds. And he's drilled on the sideline. Talk about trying to get to the sideline before getting popped. He took a pretty big hit anyway.
Yeah, Tyrone King came over and gave him a good shot. And so very close to being a late shot.
It was. It was a 3rd down and long situation again. Too many times tonight South Carolina's been in this spot. Alshon Jeffrey, the big play wide out, is to the right side. Alabama shows an extra man, and now they back out of it. And now they do bring it. Garcia has time. Completes, and a 1st down. Jason Barnes hanging in there. Offensive line did a nice job.
But you see the problem for Garcia. I mean, with this defense, they show you one thing, they do something else, and he never does look really comfortable even making this throw. Is it a blitz? Is it not? Is it zone? Is it man? Okay, I see somebody late, and he gets it to him, but it's not smooth looking. It works, and they get the 1st down, but that's this Alabama defense. They give you a lot of different looks. Very difficult for a young quarterback.
He just saw a flash of white there, and he got it to Barnes, and it was good enough for the 1st down. He's done a better job throwing on 3rd down than he is any other time tonight. Here he's going to try one on 1st down, maybe, or not. Got a block. Lofts one, complete to the tight end, Saunders. What a catch.
That's an out-of-pocket experience right there for Stephen Garcia, because they wanted to throw a screen to the right, and it wasn't open. Watch him look right. He wants to throw it. It's not there, and now this is just improvised. Look downfield, maybe run, maybe throw, out of the pocket, create a play when a play's not there, and move the chains once more.
He's got 10 completions tonight, Ledge, 8 of them on 3rd down.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to pick it down to have a good time, that's not bad. That time it was on 1st down, and now it is 1st down at the 28-yard line of Alabama. Final half-minute, 3rd quarter. South Carolina hanging around. Corey Reamer and Orlando McClain hoping they can do something about it on this drive. Garcia fires. Oh, man, wide open. was Barnes in the middle of the field.
Yeah, he had him because Tyrone King had fallen down. Tyrone King was in there in coverage, number 20, and he's going to slip and fall down. Watch this. As Garcia looks to the middle, there's Tyrone King on the ground, and he misses Barnes with the overthrow. That was a touchdown all the way for South Carolina. Steve saying, I know I would have hit that.
Yeah.
I know it.
Even at age 64,
Yeah.
I hit that. Garcia, second down, firing, tipped, almost picked off. Nice play by Johnson. And we're down to 10 seconds in the third quarter. Remember, if you missed it earlier, if you missed the Red River rivalry, that was a 3-point survival by Texas. If you missed top-ranked Florida against Arkansas, another 3-point survival. Right here, it's a 7-point Alabama lead for the number 2 team in the country, but South Carolina threatening.
And you wonder, does that mean these teams really aren't that good? No, I don't think so. I think it means that to win a national championship, somewhere along the lines, you've got to survive. You've got to win a game or two like that, where you don't play your best, but you find a way to win.
3rd and 10. Garcia flushed and sacked. Lorenzo Washington. And now that might be a field goal problem by taking him out of range with the sack by the senior out of Logan'sville, Georgia.
Now, Lorenzo Washington is not your typical sack guy. I mean, he's more of a space eater guy. Eric Anders forced him out of the pocket, and Washington finished up the deal.
15 to play in regulation. Number 2 Alabama has got a touchdown lead heading to the 4th quarter. Alabama, number 2 holding on. Fans can barely stand to watch unless she's just that cold. It's 13 to 6. This is a 50-yard field goal attempt. Career long for Lanning is 53 a year ago. Kick on the way. It looks perfect, but it's short. He had it right down the middle, but not deep enough. So another opportunity goes by the wayside. And now, Todd, you get into this last 14 minutes and change, and it's, you know, who can control the ball better. Yeah. The turnovers have been huge, but really South Carolina hadn't been able to do anything with it.
No, they haven't. They've not been able to capitalize. Credit Alabama's defense. Some penalties in the first half for South Carolina. Right now, for Alabama, it's got to be Mark Ingram time. I mean, he's the guy that you rode to this point. Your quarterback's struggling. He's not comfortable. Mark Ingram has to win this football game for you now.
Number 22 is out there with another career night already, and we've still got almost 15 minutes to play. Here he comes. Bounces in the hole, spins his way through a couple of tacklers, and he's got 5 more. Mark Ingram, another career night for him, coming off 172 last week, and he's done it in a variety of ways. Off tackle, spinning outside, tough runs when he's taking people with him, and then a 54-yarder that set up a late field goal in the 2nd quarter. He's got more total yards than South Carolina does. Here's an end around to Mays. Marquise Mays, they're waiting for him. Shaq Wilson and Nathan Pepper make the stop, no gain.
This is a tough spot, you know, for Jim McElwain, because he knows, okay, it's 3rd down and not so short. Can't just give it to 22 and hope to get the first down. We've got to make some first downs. My quarterback's got to make some plays. So I got to look on my chart and figure out what's the best thing I can call for him now on 3rd and 7.
Here's what they've come up with. Whoa. somehow he got the ball to Mays, and I mean, he was hit as he threw. I think that ball ended up having more on it when he got hit.
I think Eric Norwood spinning him put a little more spin on the football. Watch Norwood do the spin move, spin the quarterback, and somehow McElroy gets this not only off, but complete to Marquise Mays, but short of the first down.
So Fitzgerald will have to punt, and Norwood, we mentioned his name with an impact. Really, for one of the few times tonight, they've done a good job of staying away from it or helping to block him. Gilmore back deep, high kick. Gilmore has a look, and a really quick fair catch. Called for and taken at the 13-yard line. A winner today, but barely, over Oklahoma. In Dallas, here, number 2, Alabama, trying to hold on and avoid an upset, leading 13-6. Garcia out to the 20, and we are out to Reese Davis. Reese. All right, Reese, keep us posted. Boy, it's a different Colorado team than we saw last week. Second down at 2 now. Garcia moves Kenny Miles over. Will flank him on the left side. Let's see if he gives it to him. He'll fake it and throw it out in the flat. Completion. It's a first down to D.L. Moore.
You know, the thing about it for South Carolina is it's a one-score game. They're 7 points behind. Their defense is playing lights out. Yep. So even though they're deep in their own territory, they got a first down. But if they can't go too far and they have to punt, not a problem. There's still a lot of time left, and the way their defense is playing, maybe the next time or two they get the ball, they'll have a better opportunity. But that was an important first down right there.
You still keep thinking they'll sneak one to Alshon Jeffrey some point. Garcia, Jeffrey on a crossing pattern. Spins out to the 31-yard line. Corey Reamer and Justin Woodall made the stop.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing with this kid, because talking to a couple of the coaches on the field before the game, they said the light just really came on for him last week. I mean, before last week,
he only had 5 catches.
5 catches in 5 games. Then he has 7 and a couple, circus catches, and now he's the go-to receiver. We should mention, even though it's great news that Mo Brown is feeling better, he was the leading receiver coming into tonight, and he's not there for Steven Garcia.
Miles runs into a wall right at the line of scrimmage. Corey Reamer, the linebacker again. Aaron?
Guys, a part of that was Alshon Jeffrey missed a month of strength and conditioning because he was trying to finish his academic requirements so he could be eligible as a freshman. And when I talked to the head ball coach about it, he said, he just started practicing better. He started playing better. And the one thing that Steve Spurrier loves about Alshon Jeffrey, he's a good listener, Aaron. He listens to me. The ball coach loves that.
Oh, absolutely. Third down and 3.
All right, here we go. Change from the line of scrimmage. Change by McClain. The chess match continues. Spurrier to Garcia, and then McClain.
Garcia, quick throw to Jeffrey, and he's got a first down. Alshon Jeffrey, originally committed to the other USC, if you will, the University of Southern California, and then decided that out of St. Matthews, South Carolina, the Gamecocks should be his home, and it is. And there's a first down on a quick slant. Pickup of 11. Great basketball player, too. His Calhoun County high school team won 4 state basketball titles, coached by Zam Frederick Sr. Zam Jr. plays for South Carolina basketball. Brandon Dederick, he's had some big plays. That's a loss of about 5. And Alabama defense. They might give in once in a while, but they'll come back and get a negative play right after they give up a positive. And there's the guy that's running it, Kirby Smart, defensive coordinator for the Tide. Isn't it amazing that he and Will Muschamp, 2 old buddies from Georgia, are 2 of the best defensive coordinators in the country?
And it's not ironic that they both studied and learned under Nick Saban either.
That's right. It all fits together. Timeout taken by South Carolina. 9:02 to play. 7-point ball game. That's all that separates number 22 from number 2. All right, Reese, thanks. 2nd and 14 here with 9:02 remaining. South Carolina trailing second-ranked Alabama by a touchdown. Garcia pressured. They're going to get to him. They came with an extra man off the corner, and it paid off.
Yeah, they showed a 3-man rush like they were going to play drop coverage, and then they brought pressure off the edge. And again, they show you one thing and they do something else. Here comes the pressure here, and they get to Garcia. And, you know, the thing about it is, we already talked about they started this game without Javier Arenas, one of their best defensive players.
Right.
They've started the last 3 games without Dante Hightower, who is one of their 2 best players. He, along with McClain, their other starting linebacker, outstanding players. McClain in there, but Hightower out for the rest of the season.
Hightower already rehabbing. And timeout taken by Carolina again. Well, a big 3rd and 20 coming up. Down to 8:15 left. Well, a 3rd and 20 following a timeout.
You know, South Carolina, amazingly, is 7 for 16 on 3rd down, but their average need has been 10.6 yards per 3rd down play. Yeah, that's brutal.
Garcia pumps once, fires on the sideline, tipped. Incomplete. Jeffrey, the intended receiver. Kareem Jackson had a pretty good play on the ball.
Well, Stephen Garcia needs to thank Alshon Jeffrey for becoming a defensive back here, because this was a sure interception. It was underthrown. Jackson's there, and Jeffrey just went up and got his hand on the ball to knock it away from Jackson.
Spencer Lanning comes in to punt. Julio Jones waiting on the other end. He's been an excellent punt returner tonight in there for Arenas. Takes it at the 35. Julio 45. Ooh, he almost snuck out of there. Flags are down though. And they might bring this one back as well. We've seen that several times tonight.
The reason Julio has had so many nice opportunities tonight is Spencer Lanning is kicking the ball very low.
Yep.
And when Julio catches it, he's got a lot of space between him and the first guys coming down for South Carolina. So he's been able to hit it with a head of steam just about every return tonight.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 17 on the receiving team. That penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Chase for the NASCAR Cup is going on. Top 6.
Alabama, 11 penalties tonight, and 5 of them have been on special teams.
Mark Ingram now in the Wildcat formation. He's just going to take the direct snap and take off. And he might take off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why not?
Why not?
Your quarterback's having a tough night throwing the football. This is your best offensive player that you can get the ball to. So why not just snap it to him and let him run right from there?
You know, about 45 minutes ago, you and I looked at each other and said, well, now it's Mark Ingram's ball game. Just put it in his hands.
Yeah.
He's got 202 yards rushing. He's got his followers over there. And they're not even freezing to death right now with the kind of game he's having.
202 yards rushing against a defense that knows that's all they got is him running the football right now.
Yeah, he's in there to do the same thing, or so it seems. Unless he gives it off, he won't. He'll keep it, weaving his way up the middle, chewing up clock and yardage along the way as he got it down to the 40-yard line. Speaking of chewing, Robert from Spruce Pine, Alabama, said that if he was to win Todd's Taste of the Town, he'd bring a lady named Mrs. Ayers, who's been going to Alabama games for a long, long time, 70-year-old lady who went to games for years and years before her husband passed away 3 years ago. But Mrs. Ayers kept her season tickets, always looks to find somebody to go with her to each game. Robert's daughter's gone with her to a couple games this year, but she asked him to go to the Tennessee game. They would go to Ramajama if they got that $100 gift certificate. Robert, take Mrs. Ayers, and I think you can probably do the SEC special, what was it called?
SEC Champ Breakfast.
SEC Champ Breakfast, and you can probably take a couple other folks with you. We're going to take a break. As I dream of pancakes, Alabama dreaming of holding on for a win here. 13-6. And not only on ESPN, but everywhere that you look at the SEC standings, Florida atop the East. Perfect 6-0 and a perfect 4-0 and ranked number 1. And in the West, Alabama trying to go to 7-0 and 4-0. LSU idle this weekend.
Ingram back in the Wildcat again. You got to figure South Carolina has made an adjustment to it. There was a timeout there that they took, primarily probably to address that issue.
What you can adjust to is the strength of this guy, as it looked like they were going to get him at the line of scrimmage, and he got about 3 yards. Just a sensational night for the sophomore out of Flint, Michigan. Look at those numbers. Wow. He's on pace for the single season rushing mark here, which is held by Bobby Humphrey. 3rd and a yard. Will he try it again? Yep. Got it again. Almost broke it. Down to the 26. We check in with Reese.
Stand by here, guys. Check in on the Kentucky-Auburn game. Randall Cobb going for the corner and scoring, and Kentucky beats Auburn for the first time since 1966. 21-14 the final.
Tex Cobb with the knockout punch, for Kentucky. How about that?
You know what?
You've been saying they're a good team.
I watched them on film against both these teams. I said, you know what? They're not that bad.
They ride the handoff to Julio Jones, and now Ingram heading to the left side, looking for a block down the sideline. Ingram all the way to 1st and goal.
This is an impressive thing to watch, because there is no question what's going to happen here. Mark Ingram's not going to give it to Julio Jones. He's not going to throw a pass. He's going to run the football. Everybody in this whole stadium knows it, but South Carolina can't stop it. Now, yeah, there's some good guys out there blocking, but this is determination and grit of Mark Ingram.
He had a career high last week, a career high ongoing tonight, and now it's a stadium record. 242 for Mark Ingram.
As long as he can stand, give him the ball again. I mean, I wouldn't do anything different except give it to him.
They pitch it to him here. Ingram. Touchdown. Number 22, you have done your job, young man. 4-yard touchdown run, 73 yards in this quarter, 246 in the game. And that should, with the way things are going for South Carolina, start to ice this thing away. James Allison, our replay official. Remember, Mark went down limping earlier in the ball game, has come back in to be sensational, and I don't really know that there's any doubt at all that that's a touchdown, and it will be for him his 8th rushing touchdown of the year and his 11th touchdown overall.
He's really worked this year to make himself a complete back, a better pass protector, understanding the game, but boy, what a night.
He had 172 yards rushing last week. We said that several times in the win over Ole Miss. There was one play that was driving him crazy, and he had to go in with Greg McElroy, the quarterback, and look at it, and it's the one play that bothered him the entire Sunday and into Monday, and it's because he missed a block in pass protection on a blitz, and his quarterback got hit. And he said it was driving me crazy. He wasn't talking about the 172 yards rushing he had. He was worried about one missed block. That's the kind of player he is. The touchdown is good, and the extra points upcoming. What a night. Wow.
I remember Mark May in the studio before our game saying he thought Mark Ingram would have a big night, go over 100 yards again. Well, he doubled that, over 200 yards. Great showing.
One of those guys is going to helmet sticker him, I bet you. If they already haven't.
I'm not so sure he doesn't belong up there in the Heisman talk either.
Hey, there you go.
We put Shipley up there and talked about him last week. Oklahoma really tried to shut him down today, but Mark Ingram, nobody has shut him down.
Remember, our trivia question tonight was that they've never had a Heisman Trophy winner. They got one in the running right here.
In the Wildcat, the first long run to the sideline, sets up a block, sidesteps a tackler. Obviously a little fatigue working on this South Carolina defense, but Mark Ingram, some fatigue as well. And here's the touchdown. Just a quick toss, find a crease, turn north and south, and get it right into the end zone.
He said to us, I don't run any differently as far as power. And then he did hesitate, and he kind of reiterated what the coaches told us, the patience factor.
Yep.
Wait for that hole,
that's right,
then blast through it. Don't run over your blockers. Wait for daylight.
And we've seen that all night.
The homecoming party is just about set to explode in 5 minutes.
And to add to the homecoming celebration, they just announced that beloved Auburn lost.
Nothing like having a perfect weekend if you're from Tuscaloosa, I guess, huh? At the 5-yard line. Sherman put down at the 24-yard line. Rogers on the special teams makes the stop. Mark Ingram, the sophomore tonight, 24 carries, over 10 yards a pop, and 118 after contact.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing we talked about coming in. I mean, that to me, that was the most impressive number about him. You know, he averaged over almost 6 yards a carry, but 62% of his yards gained were after contact. I mean, that's an amazing statistic.
South Carolina now has got to hurry. They're to do anything about this, and they keep it on the ground, and that doesn't do much. Kenny Miles got about 3. We check in with Reese Davis again. You took the thought right out of my mouth, Reese. A huge win for Coach Hawkins.
And we made that decision to take his son out of the lineup as the starting quarterback last week.
Well, South Carolina keeps it on the ground. I don't know if they're conceding defeat here or if they're just hoping to pop something open, but time is of the essence. They've only got one timeout left, and we're under 4 minutes, and they're down 20-6.
As good as Alabama's defense is, as great as Mark Ingram was tonight and has been this season, I have a concern about this team if they have to throw the football.
They didn't throw well tonight, and they didn't throw well last week. And that's Greg McElroy, who had been efficient up to that point, up until last week. Garcia, quick toss, nice catch. Jason Barnes pops it out, so they do get to move the sticks.
You know, and I watched Texas last week, and the concern I had there was their running game and their ability to run if they had to.
Right.
And I watch Alabama tonight, and the concern I have is if they have to throw the ball. If somebody does do a job of stopping Mark Ingram or slowing him down, and it all goes to the passing game, not sure how they'd fare.
Garcia finds his safety valve, the tight end Saunders, and Corey Reamer made the tackle about a yard shy of the first down. A lot of chatter going on about college football scores and highlights in section 140, powered by Windows Phone. You can learn more and join in the discussion. Text 140 to 4ESPN from your mobile phone. Clock is winding toward 2.5 minutes remaining. Garcia, look out from behind. Tyrone King with a sack. 5th sack of the night for the Tide, and they're 21st of the year.
And Tyrone King is one of those guys who's getting a little bit more playing time tonight. Here he comes off the edge because of the injury to Arenas. His defense is just relentless. I mean, they just they come at you from so many different directions. They don't concede any play. They try to squash every play.
That guy squashed a lot of them tonight, number 25. Garcia trying to fade it out there, and a one-handed catch by Alshon Jeffrey again. That's becoming his signature.
Yeah, it's funny. Steve Spurrier said, you know, the guy just has a knack. When you throw the ball to him, it just kind of sticks.
Yeah.
Well, that ball stuck. One hand out there, and the ball just stuck right to that glove.
That gives him a first down at the 41. His 4th catch on 3rd down. Gonna have to hurry, though. Garcia throws it across the middle of Barnes. Barnes past the umpire and skips inside the 30. Another first down, and Garcia's down.
That was a really slow developing screen, and I was wondering whether Barnes had gotten across the line of scrimmage or not, because linemen are downfield. As long as Barnes stays behind the line, it's okay. See the end of the play and the hit on Garcia. They got to get a little more sense of urgency.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this is
especially with only one timeout left.
Yeah, and they need 2 scores.
And they throw short again, so that's going to keep the clock going down inside a minute. They got to hustle.
They don't look like a team that thinks they have a chance to come back.
Yeah, you're right.
It's under a minute, and they're just, I'm not sure what it is. They're just going to try to score, but they're not going to try to score an onside kick and try to get back in it.
A lot of wasted seconds there. As much as 15. Garcia throwing short again across the middle. And I don't know if that's a first down or not.
Looks like the clock is stopped, at least to measure.
At least to take a look at it. Garcia holding on to his right knee. And they are going to move the sticks, so they need to get up there. Unless they take their timeout.
They're going to take their timeout, I think, for Garcia as much as anything else.
Maybe. Monday nights. Steven Garcia limping back to the line of scrimmage. South Carolina is out of timeouts. He's still holding the back of his right knee, it appears. Been efficient on this drive, but unfortunately not all night long. And now they got to go to the end zone here. Or try to get a first down to stop the clock, which will happen at the 5-yard line momentarily anyway. Saunders with a catch. Quarterback limping up to the line to pick up a 14. It's 1st and goal, South Carolina. Once they get those sticks set, they'll be inside the 5-yard line. Jeffrey comes out here to the near side, and they're going to throw a fade. They've tried it a million times already. Try it one more time and knocked away one more time. Yeah. Same guy.
They are so dialed into that and realizing, you know what? We've got a mismatch problem against these tall receivers that South Carolina has. So we've got to use technique to play those fade routes. We can't just man up and try to stop them in a normal way. We got to anticipate it, guess that it's coming, and then get ourselves in a position to make a play on the ball.
Looked like a Ben Wallace block shot from about 10 years ago. Get that weak stuff out of this corner. 21 seconds left. Try the other way. Maybe a flag. Nope. Completes. Well, this is too bad that the quarterback's got to be out there in obvious pain, but they don't have time to do anything else. Don't have timeouts.
But I'm still a little bit perplexed. I mean, obviously now there's not probably enough time to score and do anything to try to score again. But when they started this drive, the first 2 plays were running plays. And then they weren't going in a real hurry mode. And now all of a sudden they are. But they wasted a lot of time.
Wanted to swing past it to the left, now throws it away. And it's 4th down and goal. So a tough night for quarterbacks on both sides of this game tonight. And Alabama's about to go to 7-0. This is their 3rd 6-0 start in the last 4 years. It'll be their 75th homecoming win of all time. It'll be their 11th straight win in Tuscaloosa and their 19th regular season win in a row. In the final seconds, Garcia tipped, almost intercepted by Kareem Jackson. And now let the homecoming festivities begin again. The bonfire last last night, the pep rally last night, the parade just before noon today, and now the celebration is about to begin as the #2 team in the country is going to be 7-0. And the BCS rankings come out tomorrow. And at least for the time being, a little bit of a smile on Nick Saban's face.
Well, another incredible performance by his defense. And again, this is a defense that has played like this from the very beginning. They manhandled Virginia Tech in the opener, and they have done it through 7 games now.
And number 22 is the hero of the night. I'd make him the Grand Marshal if they had one more parade tonight. Because he led the way. He had his own float working wearing number 22. So Steve Spurrier's team falls to 5-2, 2-2 in the conference. The Crimson Tide are 7-0 and 4-0 atop the SEC West. A happy bunch of Crimson Tide players around their head coach as they head to the locker room. And we check in with Aaron.
I don't even know if you have enough energy. He just got connected to my coat to even smile. Back-to-back career games for you. When South Carolina knows what you're going to do, they know you're going to run the ball, how do you still have that much success?
It was just a great team effort. All 11 people on offense. You know, the receivers did a great job blocking. The offensive line did a great job of getting on their guys and pushing them off the ball. And, you know, the offense had a great effort today. I mean, we struggled a little bit, but we pushed through when we needed.
But you can give yourself a little credit here because over 100 yards came after contact. How do you do that?
I just take pride in not letting the first tackler bring me down after first tackler bringing me down. You know, as a running back, you got to take pride in getting yards after carrying. You know, I have pride in my running style, pride that I can do that, so I try and do it as much as I can.
Our announcers upstairs maybe saying Heisman discussion for you. What do you think?
I'm not really worried about it.
Right.
I'm just trying to get better every week. Help the team win.
Go enjoy your night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice how Mark Ingram apologized for tripping over Aaron? He never apologized for running over South Carolina. 20-6, Alabama a winner. For Todd Blackledge, Aaron Andrews, our entire ESPN crew, Brad Nessler saying so long from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The Tide rolls to their 7th straight win. Sports Center is next.